Have you ever heard of the ancient practice of putting your name in salt water? Imagine immersing your deepest desires in a mystical ritual, letting salt water purify them and transform them into reality. What would it be like to be able to live a life full of serenity and inner peace, free from pain and suffering? And what would it be like to find emotional balance and mental well-being by pushing away the things and people that hurt you? In this Zen story, thanks to Buddhist wisdom, you will discover that if you put your name in salt water, you can make your wishes come true. If you stick around to the end of this story, you will discover the incredible power of salt water for your life. And you will know how a Buddhist monk named Ariko helped a young disciple rediscover the joy of living through Zen philosophy and this ancient secret ritual. So get ready for an exciting journey through the snow-capped mountains of Japan, where ancient wisdom intertwines with the transformative power of salt water. We assure you that by the end of this touching story, you will have learned how to awaken your inner potential and turn your dreams into reality. But before continuing, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to be informed when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. In an ancient village nestled among the snow-capped mountains of Japan, there lived an old and wise Buddhist monk named Ariko. Known for his profound wisdom and compassion, he attracted disciples from every corner of the country, eager to learn from his teachings. His fame was such that even the emperor himself occasionally went to the temple to receive his advice. One day, a group of disciples gathered around the master. Their faces were marked by tiredness and discouragement. They had fought long and hard, facing all kinds of obstacles and rejections, but life didn't seem to give them what they deserved. This is why they felt tired, trapped in an endless routine, destined for an existence devoid of the well-being and peace they had always desired. Ariko looked at them with her eyes full of kindness and said, "Would you like to learn how to break down those barriers that prevent you from reaching your true potential? What would it be like to be able to overcome the waste we have to deal with every day? And what would it be like to be able to obtain what we need to live peacefully?" The disciples, faced with these questions, nodded, recognizing in Ariko's words the reflection of their own difficulties. "You are not alone," continued the elderly monk. "Many of us have faced these challenges. But there's one thing I want you to know. Every obstacle, every rejection is just part of the path to something bigger and more extraordinary." Today, I'm here to share with you something special, something that can change the course of your life in a way you don't even imagine. Ariko paused, letting her words sink into their hearts, and the disciples smiled, convinced that they would soon find out. What I'm going to tell you about is a powerful force, a philosophy of life that will not only help you achieve your goals, but will also allow you to discover a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. It's not just a technique, Ariko clarified. It's a way of thinking, of acting, of being. It is a tool that can unleash your maximum potential and take you beyond what you ever thought possible. Are you ready to take the first step towards a fuller, more exciting and rewarding life? The disciples, intrigued and full of hope, nodded enthusiastically. "Then let us join together on this journey to personal transformation," Ariko exclaimed. "A journey where every challenge becomes an opportunity and every dream becomes an achievable reality. It's time to unleash your inner greatness in all its splendor." And so, Ariko began to guide his disciples along the path of awareness and personal realization. By teaching them the principles of Zen philosophy and powerful techniques such as meditation, gratitude, and manifestation, he would give them the keys to a more fulfilling life. One day, while the disciples were meditating by the lake, Ariko told them a legend that had been handed down for generations. It is said that in the depths of this lake lives an ancient and wise dragon, guardian of a magical pearl that contains the knowledge and wisdom of the universe. Legend has it that only those with a pure heart and a determined soul can find the pearl and gain its powers. The disciples listened to the story in amazement, fascinated by the possibility of gaining such knowledge. The master smiled and said, "The legend of the dragon and the pearl is a symbol of the potential that lies within each of us. Inside us is an inexhaustible source of wisdom and strength, just waiting to be awakened, and we must learn to do it." To help his disciples connect with their inner potential, Ariko taught them a special ritual, the salt water ritual. Salt water represents purification and transformation, Ariko explained. With this ritual, you can free your mind from negative thoughts and channel your energy towards your deepest desires. Now, listen to me carefully because I will explain exactly what you will have to do to put this powerful ritual into practice. The disciples carefully followed Ariko's instructions. Taking a blank sheet of paper, they wrote down their deepest desire clearly and precisely. Then, they folded the sheet and immersed it in a carefully prepared bowl of salted water. As the sheet absorbed the salt water, Ariko guided them in a deep meditation, helping them visualize their wish already fulfilled. He invited them to feel the positive emotions they would feel once they achieved their goal, to perceive the joy and satisfaction that would derive from it. At the end of the meditation, the disciples took the paper out of the bowl and left it to dry. Ariko assured them that the ritual had activated the power of manifestation and that their wish would come true if only they continued to believe in it with faith and perseverance. In the following days and weeks, the disciples put their mentor's teachings into practice, cultivating gratitude and faith in the power of manifestation. However, some of them began to doubt when their wishes did not come true immediately. Ariko reassured them, explaining that the path to personal fulfillment is not always linear. There will be obstacles and trials to face, but it is important to maintain faith and never abandon your dreams. Every trial is an opportunity to grow and strengthen, he said. Learn from your mistakes. Don't be afraid to fail. Failure is not the end, but just a step towards success, and it is only by failing that you can learn how to achieve your desires. The disciples, inspired by the monk's words, continued to persevere, facing challenges with courage and determination. And over time, they began to see the fruits of their efforts. Their wishes, once just distant dreams, began to come true, one after the other. As the disciples achieved their goals, they realized how powerful the potential resided within them. They had learned to turn their thoughts into reality, to overcome limitations, and create the life they wanted. Gratitude became a constant feeling in their hearts. They were grateful to Ariko for his teachings, grateful for the experiences they had lived, grateful for life itself. One day, after many years of teachings, Ariko felt that the time had come to leave this world. He gathered his disciples around him and said, "My journey is coming to an end, but my teaching will live on through you. Take with you the wisdom you have learned, share it with the world, and help others find their inner light." With a smile full of peace, Ariko closed her eyes forever. His disciples, moved and saddened, promised to honor his memory by continuing to spread his message of hope, compassion, and personal fulfillment. But what does the story of the monk Ariko and salt water teach us? That all of us, to live a full and satisfying life, must learn to awaken the potential that resides in each of us. This story is a message of hope that reminds us that we can create the life we desire, if only we have the courage to believe and persevere. Like Ariko's disciples, we can learn to transform our thoughts into reality, to overcome limitations, and realize our greatest dreams. All through gratitude, faith in the power of manifestation, commitment, and perseverance. Have you ever heard of the custom of putting coarse salt in the corners of the house? And do you know what exactly this ancient Buddhist practice passed down by monks and healers of enormous wisdom and experience is for? Thanks to the exciting Zen story you are about to hear, you will discover some of the greatest benefits of salt and the powerful symbolic and spiritual implications behind it. So, stay until the end and don't miss even a minute of this precious video, because the information you will receive will help you in your search for inner peace. In a quiet Buddhist monastery hidden in the Japanese mountains, the wise old monk Hiroshi told his devoted disciples stories of profound wisdom. Dear disciples, there is an ancient practice that may appear simple, but which has deep roots in Buddhist wisdom and important symbolic and spiritual implications. The monk continued, putting coarse salt in the corners of your house may seem like a trivial gesture, but you have to watch what happens when you do it. It's like sowing the seed of change and watching how it flourishes. A young monk raised an eyebrow skeptically. I used to doubt this practice, he admitted, but now I wonder what would happen if I did it. You should know that salt has been valued throughout the centuries, considered more than just a spice. It was traded like gold, and many believed it possessed magical properties. But why put salt in the corners of the house? Asked another young nun. Because salt isn't just about making food taste better, Hiroshi replied. It has a much deeper history. And so the monk embarked on a tale that unfolded through ancient cultures and civilizations, from the ancient Egypt of the pharaohs to Gandhi's India, from the regions of Normandy to Bavaria, from Judaism to Buddhism. He explained how salt had been considered a protective amulet, a symbol of unshakable life, a means of purification and harmonization. It is more than meets the eye, Hiroshi said. It is a bridge between us and the universe, a key to our connection with nature and with ourselves. His disciples absorbed the words of the wise monk, reflecting on the depth behind such a simple gesture as putting salt in the corners of one's home. And so they began to understand that even the smallest actions can lead to significant changes when intrinsically connected to wisdom and awareness. Every practice has a beginning, he began, and the practice of using salt as a tool of purification and transformation has its roots in the past, intertwined with the stories of monks, sages, and ordinary people. The disciples approached, eager to discover the secrets Hiroshi was about to reveal. In Buddhist tradition, he continued in a calm voice, salt is considered a protective amulet, capable of repelling negative energies and purifying the space it occupies. A young nun raised her hand, eager to know more, but how did this practice begin? She asked curiously. Hiroshi smiled, accepting the question. In times past, corners were believed to be places where stagnant energies could accumulate, creating an imbalance in the home environment. And by placing salt in these points, an energetic barrier was created that repelled negative influences. The disciples' eyes shone with interest as Hiroshi continued his narration. In Japan, for example, salt is used in Shinto purification rituals to eliminate spiritual impurities and protect against evil spirits. This practice has evolved over the centuries, but its profound meaning has remained intact and, even today, many elderly people cultivate it and pass it down with confidence to their heirs. As Hiroshi spoke, the disciples found themselves transported to a world of ancient beliefs, superstitions, and traditional wisdom, and they began to understand that the simple gesture of putting salt in the corners of the house was an act of protection and harmonization with the universe. But the power of this element is not limited only to protection, continued Hiroshi, his eyes bright with wisdom. Salt also has the ability to transform stagnant energies into positivity and create an environment that fosters personal growth and emotional well-being. The disciples listened carefully, fascinated by the words of the wise monk. For them, the concept of using salt as a tool for purification and transformation was becoming increasingly clear and meaningful. And now, said Hiroshi, as the fire crackled softly before them, I will show you a simple yet powerful method for using salt to purify and harmonize your home environment. With an air of expectation, the disciples gathered even closer, ready to learn the Master's secrets, because they knew that even though salt might seem like a common thing, its power was profound and transformative. And Hiroshi was ready to lead them on a journey of discovery through the ancient practices involving this humble yet powerful element. First of all, continued the elderly monk, we must understand the role of salt in our daily lives and its connection to the energies that surround us. Salt has been precious throughout the ages, Hiroshi continued, not only for its culinary value, but also for its physical and symbolic properties. It was considered a divine gift, a symbol of purification and protection against dark forces. As he spoke, he showcased a variety of salts collected from around the world, from raw sea salt to pink Himalayan salt crystals. Each type of salt carries with it a unique vibration, he explained. And learning to use salt correctly means being aware of this diversity and how it can affect our environment and our inner energy. The disciples contemplated the various types of salt with curiosity, aware of their potential significance beyond the simple flavor they added to meals. But how can we fully harness the power of salt in our lives? Asked one of the monks, eager to apply what he was learning. You asked an important question, Hiroshi replied with a smile. The key is in intention and mindful practice. I will show you a method you can use to purify and protect your home environment. The moon is a powerful energy catalyst, Hiroshi explained, and when salt is exposed to its light, it becomes charged with purifying and harmonizing energy. The disciples watched in awe as the salt absorbed the silvery light of the moon, exuding an aura of tranquility and power. This salt, said Hiroshi, can be used to create a circle of protection around your home or to purify interior spaces. With an elegant gesture, he took a pinch of salt from the bowl and scattered it around the perimeter of the monastery courtyard, tracing an invisible circle of protection. This circle, he explained, will create an energetic barrier that will repel negative influences and promote peace and harmony within these boundaries. The disciples watched reverently as Hiroshi completed the circle of salt, feeling the presence of a protective energy surrounding the monastery. It was as if the place itself had been enveloped in a loving and powerful embrace. But the power of salt is not just limited to external protection, Hiroshi continued. It can also be used to purify and harmonize internal spaces, creating an environment that promotes spiritual growth and well-being. With this, he led the disciples inside the monastery, where he guided them through a series of practices involving salt to purify and harmonize the internal spaces. Each gesture was performed with awareness and intention as the disciples learned to connect with the power of salt and use it to transform the energies around them. Have you ever noticed how humidity can accumulate on the walls of your home, especially in certain areas? Hiroshi asked, scanning the expressions of all the people present. Everyone nodded in agreement, recalling times when they had observed this phenomenon in their homes. Placing salt in those spots can be extremely helpful, Hiroshi continued. Salt, in fact, has the ability to absorb humidity from the surrounding air, thus helping to prevent the formation of mold and safeguard our health. But that's not all, he said with a smile that suggested a new revelation. Salt can also be an ally in the fight against bad odors in domestic environments. Placing small bowls of salt in strategic locations around the home, such as the kitchen or bathroom, can help absorb and neutralize bad odors, Hiroshi explained. In this way, salt acts as a natural air purifier, keeping rooms fresh and pleasant. And these two important benefits of salt, my dears, although they are not directly linked to spirituality, actually have a strong connection with our spiritual path. Because just as it absorbs humidity and bad smells, salt also absorbs energies, emotions, and evil presences. Therefore, it has a very powerful symbolic and spiritual role, and each of us should take this into account. Have you ever heard of the meaning of the number 888 and its spiritual importance? For many, it is an angelic number, a portal to luck and prosperity. The certain thing is that for all religions, this number has links with spirituality and with the divine that is in each of us. And it is said that if you write the number 888 on a sheet of paper and put it under your pillow, you can transform your life. By doing so, in fact, you will be able to attract prosperity, serenity, and inner peace. But how are things really? Make yourself comfortable and stay until the end of the video, because at the end of this Zen story you will find an answer to this fascinating mystery. And also, you will learn about the power of the number 888 and how to use it to attract what you want into your life. The sun sank lazily on the horizon, painting the sky with fiery shades that danced on the rocks like tongues of fire. The elderly and wise monk Kato is about to reveal something unique to his disciples. Around the crackling fire, Kaido's disciples anxiously awaited the words of the Buddhist monk. They knew that, once again, their mentor would amaze them with extraordinary revelations. Kaido, with his calm and persuasive voice, began to narrate an ancient story, one of those capable of opening the mind and leaving a profound mark in the hearts of each of them. In the mists of time began the monk. A mystical number emerged from the depths of the universe, 888. Since then, its energy permeates creation, bringing abundance, prosperity, and balance. Like a rushing river that fuels life, this number brings with it the promise of a bright future, a future full of joy and fulfillment. The monk bent down, picking up a small sheet of snow-white paper. With precise and delicate gestures, he traced the number 888 in golden ink. His calligraphy, as fluid as a mountain waterfall pouring down the valley, seemed to leave a mark in the minds of the disciples. This symbol, he explained in a soft voice, contains an ancestral force capable of attracting positivity into your life like a magnet attracts iron. Think of this number as a talisman that brings good luck, a bridge that connects heaven and earth, a portal that will lead you to a world of wonders. The disciples listened in silence, enraptured by the Master's words. Their eyes shone with curiosity and hope, like stars lighting up in the night sky. 888 is more than just a number, Kato continued, his voice vibrant with wisdom. It is a key that opens the door to the unlimited potential of the universe. And consequently, if we know how to interpret certain messages well, to the unlimited potential that lies within each of us. Like a magical portal leading to a world of wonders, this number will allow you to access an infinite reserve of energy and wisdom, an inexhaustible source of inspiration and inner strength. One of the younger disciples, eager to know more, asked, "Master Kato, how can this number open the doors of prosperity and inner peace for us?" The monk, looking at everyone with a broad smile, invited them to write the number 888 on a sheet of white paper using golden or red ink, symbols of prosperity and luck. The sheet then had to be placed under the pillow before going to bed, like a hidden treasure waiting to be revealed. While you sleep, Kaito whispered in a firm voice, your mind will open like a flower in the sun, and the energy of 888 will flow through you, purifying your spirit and preparing you to receive new gifts from the universe. It will be like a rain of blessings falling on the thirsty earth. Dreams will transform into prophecies, intuitions into flashes of genius, and synchronicities into invisible guides that will lead you to your highest destiny. The disciples nodded, and with their hearts full of hope and the paper with the number 888 clutched in their hands, they headed towards their rooms. The ritual that Cato had spoken about had affected them deeply, and they couldn't wait to carry it out with all the trust and faith they were capable of. In the quiet of the night, the disciples retreated to their rooms, lulled by the singing of the nocturnal birds and the rustling of the leaves. The paper with the number 888 rested under their pillows like a precious talisman that emanated a subtle and vibrant energy, and that night a very strange thing happened. Everyone dreamed of something, and the dreams became vivid and colorful, full of symbols and mysterious messages to interpret and use as maps for one's happiness. Upon awakening, the disciples felt transformed, as if a cool breeze had swept away the clouds of their minds. A sense of renewed energy and profound inner peace pervaded their being, like a wave of positivity that enveloped and intoxicated them. Over the next few days, surprising events began to manifest in their lives. New opportunities knocked on their doors, like flowers blooming at dawn. Unexpected encounters illuminated their path, like lighthouses in the night indicating the route. Fortunate coincidences led them towards the realization of their dearest dreams, like shooting stars that grant wishes. The disciples, amazed and happy at these events and this transformation, went to Cato to thank him and to ask to know more about the number 888. The wise monk, with a benevolent smile, invited them to sit around the fire, which crackled brightly like a beating heart that united them under the same roof. 888 is an angelic number, Cato explained, his voice vibrant with wisdom. It is a message sent by our spiritual guardians, a precious gift that infuses our lives with hope, love, and protection. Like a lighthouse in the night, this number guides us towards our highest destiny, illuminating the path ahead with its golden light. In Buddhism, the number 8 represents the Eightfold Path, or the path that leads to enlightenment. And the 888 is seen as a symbol of spiritual perfection and awakening, a symbol to be respected, and thanks to which one can find one's path in life. Master Cato asked the disciple, "Is it true that this number is also important for other religions?" The monk, smiling, replied that in the Christian tradition, the number 888 is associated with Jesus Christ, because in Greek, the name of Jesus has this same numerical value. And for this reason, it is seen as a symbol of redemption, salvation, and eternal life. Cato told stories of angels and spiritual guides who, through this issue, had offered their help to people in difficulty. He talked about how this number was often present in prophetic dreams, sudden intuitions, and surprising synchronicities, like an invisible thread that weaves the fabric of our destiny. The 888 is a symbol of balance and harmony, continued Cato. Like a bridge that connects heaven and earth, this number helps us find the right balance between our spiritual aspirations and our material needs. It is an invitation to live a life full of meaning, in which external prosperity is accompanied by internal growth, giving us emotional balance and mental well-being. While the disciples listened with great interest, and their hearts were grateful to their mentor for the wisdom he imparted to them, the monk taught them how to meditate on the number 888. Thinking about this number, my dears, visualize how a golden light flows through your body and purifies your soul. And pay attention to the signs and synchronicities that manifest themselves in your life, recognizing them as messages from the universe that guide you towards your destiny. The disciples, with hearts full of gratitude, from that day continued to constantly practice the ritual of the number 888 and meditate on it. Their life turned into a journey of discovery and joy, where every day was a new chapter in a wonderful story. The numbers danced before their eyes like notes of celestial music that invited them to follow the rhythm of the universe. And their lives, despite the challenges and tests to which they were subjected, continued in the name of trust, faith, and perseverance. Challenges are like stones that help us build the path of our life, Kaido had told him during his lessons. Do not be afraid of falling, because it is only by falling that you learn to get up. The 888 is with you. You just need to open your heart to feel its energy. The most difficult test was for Akiko, a young disciple with a pure heart and a kind soul. A sudden fire destroyed her house, leaving her with nothing. Akiko was disheartened and cried desperately, believing that the universe had abandoned her to her fate. Kaido took her hand and led her to the top of a hill overlooking the valley. The sun was rising, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. Look, he said, pointing to the breathtaking view. The universe has not abandoned you. It has given you this test to make you emerge like a phoenix from the ashes. Remember that the 888 is with you. Have faith, and your inner strength will guide you despite adversity. Akiko watched the sun rise and felt a new strength rising within her. The monk's words gave her the hope and determination to rebuild her life. With the help of his fellow disciples and the community, he built a new house, more beautiful and more resistant than the previous one. After overcoming various tests and challenges, the disciples felt transformed. They had acquired a new awareness of themselves and their place in the world. One day, Kaito gathered them together again and asked them, "What have you learned from all this?" The disciples, moved and aware, recounted their experiences. They had learned that true wealth is not in material things, but in inner strength, love, and compassion. And that the number 888 is not a magical lucky charm, but a symbol of their unlimited potential. And again, that the key to a happy and fulfilling life is to trust your intuition and live in harmony with yourself and the universe. Master Kaito looked at them with pride and greeted them with these words, "Now you are ready to spread your light in the world. Use your wisdom to help others and to create a better world." Have you ever heard of the Buddhist custom of putting salt in your shoes? And do you know what exactly this ancient practice, which has its origins in the wisdom of Buddhists and Oriental medicine, is for? Salt is known for its countless uses, not only in cooking. You probably already tried several thanks to suggestions from elders. In the kitchen, it is a formidable ally, and according to the most recent research, it is not the worst culprit in raising blood pressure. And its uses do not end here. Salt is in fact a precious ingredient even in domestic cleaning, because it helps to clean and cleanse. Furthermore, in the form of a saline solution, it is a powerful disinfectant for wounds and skin abrasions. Not to mention its uses as an exfoliating scrub, anti-dandruff remedy, bath salt, and we could go on forever. But few people know that for Buddhists, putting salt in their shoes has a very important meaning on both a spiritual and medical level. And we will see it in the Zen story that you will hear shortly, where you will discover 5 reasons why you should also try to put it in your shoes. So stay until the end, because what we will reveal to you in the last minutes of the video will strike you deeply, leaving you speechless. But before continuing, if you are not yet one of us, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to be updated when we publish new content. In the heart of a valley surrounded by the mystical aura of the Japanese mountains stood an ancient Buddhist monastery, guardian of age-old wisdom and a place of refuge for those seeking inner peace. In this place where time seemed to have stopped, lived the elderly and venerated monk Makoto, whose wisdom and profound understanding of the ways of Buddhism and Oriental medicine shone like the light of a candle in the night. One morning, as the golden rays of the sun filtered through the branches of the trees, Makoto gathered his disciples in the monastery cloister for one of the usual lessons. And with a serene expression, he invited them to sit in a circle around him and began to speak in a warm and reassuring voice. Every step we take on the path of life is a sacred journey, the monk began, a path that leads us to knowledge of ourselves and the universe that surrounds us. And just as when, to face a long and tiring journey, it is necessary to prepare adequately, so also in our earthly existence, we must be ready to face the challenges that await us. The disciples listened, enraptured by their master's words, and when Makoto mentioned the ancient custom of putting salt in shoes, their minds opened to the wonder of a tradition as ancient as it was mysterious. This practice, Makoto continued, has roots that go back to the remotest past, when our ancestors walked through wild and impervious lands. In those distant times, salt was not just a condiment to enrich foods, but a precious commodity, a symbol of purity and protection. The senior monk took a moment's pause, letting the words settle like delicate sand in the minds of his disciples, and then continued. I will now explain to you the 5 main reasons why the practice of putting salt in your shoes is so significant and important for our spiritual path and for our health in general. First, Makoto said, salt has the power to absorb moisture, just as the Buddha absorbed the suffering of the world. When we put salt in our shoes, it helps us keep our steps light and agile. In Buddhist practice, humility is often associated with the heaviness of worries and suffering that we carry with us along the path of life. Just as the weight of water filling our shoes in the rain slows and weighs down our pace, so the worries and tensions of the mind can hinder our progress towards inner peace and enlightenment. Putting salt in your shoes symbolizes the desire to free yourself from this burden, to let go of worries, and to maintain a lightness of spirit despite the challenges encountered along the way. Salt acts as an absorbent of these worries, allowing our steps to remain light and agile as we proceed in our search for inner peace and wisdom. To enhance the meaning of this aspect, Makoto told them the story of an old fisherman who, during a storm, had saved his boat from breaking thanks to a bag of salt that he had thrown on the deck to absorb the water. The second reason to put salt in your shoes, Makoto continued, is that salt has purifying properties. By assimilating impurities, salt purifies our path, freeing it from harmful influences and spiritual obstacles. Putting salt in our shoes, therefore, is a way to protect our mind and spirit from the deceptions and temptations of the outside world. To better explain this idea, the monk shared with his disciples the story of a traveler who, during his journey, had encountered a river infested with evil spirits. Thanks to the salt in his shoes, he was able to cross the river unscathed, protecting his mind and spirit from negative influences. The third reason, Makoto continued, is that salt helps us maintain balance. Just as the mountains that surround us are symbols of stability and strength, putting salt in our shoes also helps us to root ourselves in the earth and to remain steadfast in the face of the storms of life. The mountains surrounding the monastery represent the image of stability and strength, said the monk. Just as these towering rock formations remain steadfast even in the face of the most violent storms, so we too must learn to maintain our inner stability as we face life's challenges. And putting salt in your shoes symbolizes this balance. The salt, in fact, acts as an anchor for our steps, stabilizing them and preventing unwanted falls along our path. When we walk with salted shoes, we feel more solid and rooted to the ground, as if we have a deep connection with the earth itself. This balance not only affects the body, but also the mind and spirit. Therefore, following this practice is an invitation to find the right balance between the different dimensions of our existence, between work and rest, between action and contemplation, between joy and sadness, between good and evil. When we manage to maintain this balance, we can face life's challenges with serenity and determination without being shocked by the ups and downs we encounter along the spiritual path. To make the concept clearer, Makoto told them the story of a young monk who, during a meditation on the banks of a stormy mountain stream, had found perfect balance thanks to the salt he brought with him. As the disciples became more and more involved with the stories of their spiritual guide, Makoto continued with the fourth reason. Salt also has healing properties, he said. In Oriental medicine, in fact, salt is considered a natural remedy to relieve pain and tension. Putting salt in your shoes can soothe not only the physical discomforts, but also the mental ones that we encounter along our spiritual path. To demonstrate this idea, the monk shared with his disciples the story of a farmer who, suffering from an open wound on his foot, had found relief by immersing his foot in a saline solution. Continuing with the fifth reason, Makoto talked about how putting salt in your shoes was a gesture of gratitude. Salt is a precious gift from the earth, and using it mindfully reminds us to be grateful for all that life offers us, both the joys and the challenges, said the master. The disciples listened to Makoto's words with deep reverence, grasping the wisdom behind that seemingly simple gesture, but the monk wasn't finished yet. Looking his disciples straight in the eyes, he added, "My dears, there is a reason linked to this practice that I wanted to leave until last due to its importance. Putting salt in your shoes is a rite of passage that connects us to past generations and all the people who have walked this earth before us. Every grain of salt represents their stories, their challenges, and their victories. When we put it in our shoes, we join an eternal bond of wisdom and resilience that crosses time and space, transmitting their spirit and strength in our footsteps." Faced with this revelation, the disciples were speechless, contemplating the depth of this apparently simple gesture. They understood that, for Makoto, salt in shoes was not just an ancient practice or a symbol of protection and purification, but a connection to humanity itself and all the lives that have passed before them. Have you ever had the problem of sleeping in one position rather than another? Some people sleep on their stomachs, some on their right side and some on their left side. Then there are those who love to do it curled up in a fetal position and those on their stomach. And again, there are those who love wearing pajamas and those who don't. There are those who love having blankets on and those, however, who want to feel free. Well, if you are among those who have never asked themselves the problem, thanks to the Zen story that follows, you will discover what happens if you sleep on your left side. So stay until the end, because what you will hear will leave you breathless and will make you seriously reconsider the way you are used to sleeping. In a quiet Buddhist monastery located among the mountains of Japan, immersed in the serenity of the gardens, the elderly and wise monk Shinzo decided to dedicate a special evening to sharing profound truths about the way we are used to sleeping. The moon, bright and round in the night sky, seemed to bless the atmosphere of contemplation that spread among the devoted disciples gathered in the main hall. Shinzo, sitting on a tatami, began to speak in a calm voice, as if his words were a light breeze that caressed the minds of those who listened to him. Today, dear disciples, we will see why sleeping on your left side is the best thing you can do for your physical health and emotional well-being, the monk began. We will explore together the profound connections between the practice of left-sided sleep, the benefits for our body and spiritual awakening. Finally, you will understand why Buddhist monks have been sleeping on their left side for centuries. While the disciples were increasingly fascinated and intrigued by the topic, Shinzo continued his speech. In the ancient Eastern tradition, the connection between the body, the mind, and the spirit was an essential part of the path to wisdom and balance. And sleeping on the left side has always been of great importance. This choice is not random, but reflects a profound understanding of the physiological and spiritual principles that guide the practice of sleep. The first advantage of sleeping on the left side, said the monk, is to achieve optimal lymphatic drainage. Lymph flows through our body, and it is important that it does so like a quiet river that flows gracefully through the earth. You should know that the left side of our body is the guardian of this vital flow because it carries with it a load of proteins, glucose, and other substances. Sleeping on this side is like offering a clear path to the river, allowing our body to rid itself of toxins, a bit like a river carries the dry leaves of drifting trees. With a benevolent look, Shinzo turned to his disciples, masterfully narrating the second gift. The stomach and the pancreas are a bit like the deities of our internal temple, said Shinzo. When we lie on our left side, we create a sacred space for the dance of these two organs, which cause gastric juices to move with the grace of dancers in a theatrical performance. You see, sleeping like this isn't just a physical act, it's an invitation to an internal celebration, a silent celebration of enzymes preparing our body for a new day. The monk, happy to see the disciples so interested in his words, continued talking about the third gift deriving from sleeping on the left side, purification, a true nocturnal ritual. Resting on your left side, he said, facilitates the flow of digestive waste, like a stream flowing through fertile soil. The intestine becomes the garden where nutrients are deposited, and in the morning, our body prepares for an elimination ceremony, a daily rebirth. Under the soft light that filled the room, Shinzo elaborated on another benefit of sleeping on the left side, talking about the love of the heart. Our heart is the ruler of our body, he said with a smile. By sleeping on the left side, we offer the heart a perfect backdrop for its work. The aorta, its messenger, starts in a majestic arch towards the left side, like a traveler crossing a bridge, making the journey easier and the blood flow more harmonious. The monk stood up slightly as if dancing along with his tales and continued with the fifth gift. And now, let's talk about the spleen, the devoted handmaiden. This hidden organ, guardian of our life force, finds peace when we lie on our left side. Bodily fluids become messengers of this peace, making their way to the spleen like pilgrims arriving at a secret sanctuary, nourishing and invigorating.
And how have you slept until today? Write it in the comments and let's discuss the topic. In the meantime, if you're enjoying the video, leave a like and share it. You will help us produce new content every day for your spiritual growth.
With a deep gaze, Shinzo introduced the sixth gift with a touch of poetry. Like nature following the course of the river, sleeping on the left side is an act of connection with gravity, the silent master who guides our journey night. The force of gravity becomes the guardian of the pathways of our lymphatic drainage, a silent companion that accompanies our body through its purification ritual. In resting on the left side, the master continued, we also find balance between body and mind. Sleeping on the left side is not just an act of comfort for the internal organs and for our body in general. Ancient Oriental wisdom teaches us that this way of resting enriches our health and our connection with the internal and external world. It is a true hymn to life, which reveals itself in the dreams and quiet of the left side. Sleeping in this way, then, is not just a rest for the body, but an opportunity for inner awakening and spiritual awakening. While the world lies in deep sleep, we, as practitioners of left-sided conscious sleep, we immerse ourselves in the depths of being. It is a sacred moment in which the mind frees itself from the chains of everyday thought, opening subtle doors to universal awareness. Shinzo, still smiling at his disciples, explained the concept of the balance between yin and yang in sleep. The left side, in its more yin nature, envelops us like an embrace of the night. The quiet that arises from this practice is a gift, an offering to our inner essence. Through concrete examples, Shinzo told of nights in which the monks, immersed in the practice of conscious sleep on the left side, felt the energy flow like a calm river crossing their being. The vital energies, in harmony with nature, dance while the body rests, creating a harmony that resonates in the entire monastery. The benefits of this practice, therefore, go far beyond the physical aspect, involving the spiritual one. Delving deeper into the analysis of the physical benefits, Shinzo told of elderly monks who, by embracing this practice, had experienced greater flexibility and strength in their meditation practice. Sleeping on the left side thus becomes a perfect complement to the search for enlightenment, preparing the ground for the mind and body. The monk, between one story and another, underlined the importance of bringing this awareness into everyday life, making it a healthy habit to never give up. It is not only in the quiet of the monastery that we can cultivate this practice, he underlined. Let us bring it with us into our homes, honoring our body as a temple in which the sacredness of the night resides. Shinzo, focusing on the sounds of the cicadas and the river that could be heard around the monastery, added, "Nature itself teaches us the importance of aligning our sleep with the flow of the world. The left side, like a leaf cradled by the wind, connects us to this eternal dance." As his disciples listened with great interest, Shinzo shared other important benefits of sleeping on the left side. Sleeping on this side, he said, facilitates breathing, creating a harmonious synergy between the flow of air and the beating of the heart. When you lie on your left side, your trachea and esophagus take on a more natural and straight position relative to your spine. This alignment facilitates the passage of air through the trachea and towards the lungs, facilitating freer breathing. Additionally, the diaphragm, the main muscle involved in breathing, is located under the lungs. Sleeping on your left side allows your diaphragm to move more freely, promoting deep, smooth breathing. And the location of the heart on the left side of the chest is another key element. Sleeping on this side, in fact, reduces pressure on the heart and allows better blood circulation. Sleeping on your left side can help prevent acid reflux as well. With this position, the stomach sits lower than the esophagus, reducing the risk of gastric juices backing up into the esophagus. And then, added Shinzo, sleeping like this offers natural support to the spine, maintaining optimal alignment for a tension-free awakening. Have you ever noticed, asked the monk, that the spine has a natural S-shaped curvature? When lying on your left side, this position better reflects the natural anatomical curvature of your spine, minimizing stress on your discs and joints. Remember, said the monk, that sleeping on your left side is not only a way to make your body rest better, but becomes a path to awareness and spiritual growth. Just as Buddhist monks, being aware of the interconnection between body and mind, have always adopted the left side as the privileged position for sleep, you too should get used to doing so. This way, both your body and your mind will feel better. Have you ever noticed the lines on the palm of your hand? They are there with you always, and they have a particular meaning. And if these lines, put together, form the letter M, the meaning is even more particular because it takes on a symbolic and spiritual implication. Maybe you've never noticed it because you don't believe in palmistry, yet having the M on the palm of your hand doesn't simply have to do with the theories of those who read palms. But what does it really mean to have the letter M on the palm of your hand? We will see it in this Zen story, rich as always in that Buddhist wisdom, capable of giving us emotional well-being and inner peace. So make yourself comfortable and stay until the end of the video, because what you will hear will leave you speechless, especially if you are among the rare people who can say they have this letter on their hand. In a quiet Buddhist temple hidden in a charming Japanese forest, the elderly and wise Buddhist monk Ninsi gathered his disciples in the courtyard. "My children," Ninsi began in a calm, penetrating voice, "have you ever felt as if the universe were whispering to you ancient secrets about your destiny? And have you ever had the impression that your destiny, or at least that we call that, holds something unique and mysterious in store for you?" The disciples, captured by his eloquence, nodded, thinking of the sensations they had been pervaded by over time. Imagine entering a place and feeling your own energy being absorbed, as if the environment were making demands on your life force, he continued. Have you ever felt that shiver down your spine, that subtle sensation that leads you to change course, cancel plans, or follow others? Just like when, at the last moment, something happens that takes you elsewhere from the path you had chosen. The disciples exchanged questioning glances, but Ninsi continued without giving them time to answer or ask questions. His intent was to make them think, but also not to distract them from his words. "And then there is that strange and enigmatic symbol marked in your hands, the letter M. Those of you who own it know exactly what I'm talking about." One of the disciples raised his hand timidly. "Master, I have the letter M in the palm of my hand, and hearing about it for some time, I have always wondered with anxiety what it meant." Another disciple added, "I also have the M on the palm of my hand, and I was told that it would be a sign that we are destined to live less than others. But how are things really?" Ninsi smiled, a compassionate smile that seemed to light up the night itself. "Well, get ready to decipher the secrets that destiny has in store for you. Welcome to the mystery of the letter M." With seraphic grace, the monk told them the parable of a traveler whose deeds were guided by a star in the shape of an M that illuminated the sky. That star was a light that illuminated his path, and it was as if it also illuminated his very soul, leading him through the mystery that enveloped the world. "Imagine," said the old monk, "that you are like that traveler, with the letter M engraved in the palm of your hand. It is like having a secret map of the universe, an inner guide that pushes you towards your destination. But this map won't just take you to physical locations. It will lead you towards your true essence, towards your spiritual mission, towards gestures and events that will change your life." The disciples listened with extreme attention, eager to discover more about the meaning of that mysterious letter that fascinated and disturbed all those who carried it in the palm of their hand. Those who carry the letter M on the palm of their hand can manifest incredible inner strength, continued Ninsi. These individuals are often natural leaders, capable of inspiring and influencing those around them. Their energy is magnetic, and they attract others to them like the stars are attracted to the moon. Sometimes they are political leaders or business captains. Other times, simply good people who know how to illuminate the path of those around them. For example, particularly charismatic parents, teachers, doctors. And in the spiritual world, he added, the bearers of the letter M are true custodians of ancient secrets. They are in tune with the higher energies of the universe, capable of discerning hidden truths and guiding others towards the light. The disciples listened with growing amazement, feeling part of something bigger than themselves. Those who had the letter M printed on their hand began to feel good. The others began to feel respect for their companions. However, Ninsi warned, with the power of the letter M also comes great responsibility. You must use your gift with wisdom and compassion, or risk being overwhelmed by the dark forces that lurk in the shadows. As the fireplace crackled gently, Ninsi urged his disciples to cultivate their connection with the letter M, to explore its mysteries with humility and gratitude, and to feel privileged. And remember, the monk said in a solemn tone, that your letter M is unique, as is your path. There is no one else like you, and no one can carry out your spiritual mission except yourself. The disciples nodded, feeling a new determination burning in their hearts. With the guidance of the wise monk, they were ready to explore the mysteries of the letter M and discover their true purpose in the universe. And so, in the tranquil Buddhist temple, the light of knowledge burned brightly as the disciples embraced their destiny with hope and confidence, ready to embark on a journey of discovery and transformation under Ninsi's loving guidance. Majestically, Ninsi slowly stood up, his figure bathed in a divine light that seemed to emanate from his very essence. Now that you have understood the meaning of the letter M on the palm of your hand, he said in a grave but hopeful voice, it's time to explore its power and wisdom more deeply. The disciples approached him, eager to learn more. Look, Ninsi said, pointing to the twinkling stars in the night sky. As the stars move harmoniously in the vast universe, so you too, with your letter M, are called to move harmoniously. Every decision you make is a universal dance between your free will and divine design. Every decision you make has to do not just with your reality, but with that of those you love and the universe itself. A disciple raised his hand. Master, how can we be sure that we are following the right path? How can we make sure that this privilege is not in vain? Ninsi smiled, the wisdom in her eyes shining like an eternal flame. Listen to your heart, she said. Your letter M is like an inner compass, always ready to show you the way. But remember, the Master continued, that your journey will not be without challenges and difficulties. Dark forces will try to divert you from your path, but with the light of your letter M as your guide, you will be able to overcome every obstacle and emerge stronger and wiser than before. Another disciple raised her hand. Master, what if we don't have the letter M in the palm of our hand? Ninsi paused for a moment, contemplating the question with deep thought. Even if you don't physically possess the letter M, you can still access its wisdom and power, he finally replied. True strength lies within you, regardless of external physical characteristics. Find your center, listen to your inner voice, and you will be guided towards your spiritual realization. The disciples looked at each other with a new sense of understanding and acceptance. The old monk's words were making them reflect, opening a world of emotions in their hearts and minds. Ninsi, looking at the starry sky and with a deep breath, added, whether you bear the letter M or not, he said solemnly, always remember that you are an integral part of the great mosaic of the universe. Each individual, with their own uniqueness and beauty, contributes to the fabric of life. May your journey be illuminated by the light of wisdom and love, and may you find your true essence and inner growth. With these words, Ninsi closed his eyes and the disciples looked at him in silence, feeling the depth of his message vibrate in the surrounding air. Time seemed to slow down, as if the universe itself had stopped to listen to the words of the wise monk. When Ninsi reopened her eyes, her gaze was serene and radiant with hope. And now, he said in a clear voice, let us move forward, each of us, on our journey of spiritual discovery and realization. May the light of our letter M, whether visible or not, always guide us toward our true essence and our highest destiny. And so, in the quiet temple, the fire of knowledge continued to burn brightly as the disciples set out towards their destiny with renewed vigor and awareness. Have you ever heard of the ancient practice of washing your feet with vinegar? And have you ever heard of its enormous benefits on both a physical and mental level? And again, did you know that behind a simple daily act like this lies a profound spiritual meaning? The Zen story you will hear shortly will be a journey of discovery and reflection, where we will explore not only the physical benefits, but also the profound spiritual meanings of this ancient ritual. Get ready to immerse yourself in a story full of wisdom and stay until the end, because you will discover what also happens on a spiritual level if you take foot baths with hot water and vinegar. But before continuing, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to stay updated when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. In a quiet monastery located among the green hills of Japan, the elderly Buddhist monk Kata sat among his disciples, surrounded by the silence and serenity that enveloped the sacred place. Golden sunset light filtered through the windows of the main hall, barely illuminating Kata's serene face as she prepared to share profound wisdom with her followers. The time had come to talk about the ancient practice of washing the feet with vinegar, a ritual that combined personal care with the deepest spiritual teachings. Kata began his story by introducing the ancient and mysterious origins of the ritual of washing the feet with vinegar. This practice, he said in a calm but firm voice, has been passed down through generations of Buddhist monks. It combines respect for the physical body with the search for spiritual purification, and today we will see how a simple daily gesture can help both the body and the spirit. While the disciples, remaining silent, prepared to listen to the wise words of the monk, Kata told stories handed down in the monastery of ancient masters who used vinegar as a tool for healing and purification, both for the body and for the spirit. The sacred writings speak of monks who, after long meditations in the woods, returned to the monastery to wash their tired feet with vinegar, thus renewing their commitment to the path of spiritual awakening, continued Kava. You must know, he added, that in ancient monastic communities there were real ritual ceremonies that accompanied the washing of the feet with vinegar. And this is the demonstration of the enormous respect and sacredness attributed to this gesture of purification that we try to pass on over the years. As the disciples' interest and curiosity grew more and more, Kata began to talk about the physical benefits of washing with vinegar. Vinegar is known for its antimicrobial and antifungal properties, Kata explained fervently. These help prevent and fight skin infections such as nail mycosis. This was very important in the past, when monks worked outdoors and could incur infections of various kinds. And it is very important in our times, in which many of you spend many hours with shoes on or frequent places, such as public swimming pools or gyms, where you come into contact with fungi of various types. With concrete examples, Kava illustrated how washing your feet with vinegar could improve skin health, reduce unpleasant odor, and even relieve muscle pain and fatigue. Immersing your feet in a solution of water and vinegar is like giving them a regenerating and invigorating treatment, he added with a pleased smile, underlining how ancient healers suggested this ritual to safeguard health. On a physical level, washing your feet with vinegar brings numerous benefits, especially for blood circulation and muscle relaxation. Imagine tired feet after a long day of work or walking. Immersion in a solution of water and vinegar not only soothes fatigue, but also promotes blood flow through the blood vessels of the feet. This improves tissue oxygenation, helping to reduce swelling and relieving any pain or discomfort. Furthermore, the heat of the water combined with the relaxing properties of the vinegar helps the muscles of the feet to relax, dissolving the tensions accumulated during the day. This muscle relaxation not only brings immediate relief, but can also promote better posture and greater balance in the long term, as the muscles in the feet are essential for supporting the full weight of the body throughout our days. Kata also explored the exfoliating effect of vinegar on the skin of the feet, removing dead cells and leaving them soft and smooth. This deep cleansing process contributed to the overall health of the feet. You will probably smile to hear a monk talk about the exfoliating power of this practice, said the elderly and wise monk, smiling amused. But the truth is that even these aspects, apparently frivolous, play a role in our physical and emotional well-being. Faced with this joke, they all let out a group laugh, appreciating the sympathy with which the master approached them in explaining the importance of this ancient practice. Kata looked at his disciples amused. Then, in a calm voice, he moved on to talk about the symbolic and more purely spiritual aspects of this ancient Buddhist ritual. In washing our feet with vinegar, we find a profound symbol of our inner search and aspiration for spiritual purity, he continued. Imagine our tired and dusty feet after a long journey through life. Every step we take leaves an imprint, a sign of our experiences, our struggles, and our joys. Yet, despite the weight of the journey, we continue to advance with determination and hope. In this simple act of washing the dirt off our feet, we see reflected the desire to purify our mind and heart from the impurities of the world. You must think of vinegar as the transforming force that acts on us, as a regenerating liquid that flows over our feet, bringing with it a new vitality. Just as vinegar slowly dissolves accumulated dirt and sweeps away dead skin from our feet, so we seek to loosen the chains of selfishness, hatred, and fear that imprison us. Through this ritual, we come closer to the awareness of our limits and our fragilities, paving the way for a greater understanding of ourselves and others. The washing of feet with vinegar is not only a gesture of purification, but an act of humility and compassion. Every time we bend down to wash the feet of another, we recognize the sacredness of the service and the importance to take care of each other. This gesture reminds us that we are all part of a single human community, linked by invisible bonds of love and mutual respect. For this reason, the monks used to wash each other's feet. And it is the same reason why, in some forms of meditation, we suggest that people who come to visit us dedicate themselves to this practice on others. We can wash the feet of a child, a parent, a loved one. It will be a way to take care of ourselves and that person we care about, moving our hearts and minds towards inner peace and emotional balance. According to the ancient Buddhist monks, my dear disciples, washing the feet with vinegar is a path towards inner renewal, a journey that commits us to overcoming our fears and embracing our humanity with courage and kindness. Proceeding with his teachings, Kada also emphasized the importance of practicing foot washing with vinegar with full awareness and presence of mind. Every drop of vinegar is an opportunity to be fully present in the here and now, he said firmly. So practice mindfulness during the ritual, observing the sensations, thoughts, and emotions that arise as you soak your feet in the vinegar. In this way, he continued, foot washing becomes not only an act of purification, but an experience of profound connection with oneself and the surrounding world. Kada, during this lesson, was not limited to the theoretical aspects, but also suggested breathing and meditation exercises to be practiced during the ritual to promote greater awareness and mental tranquility. Remember that through regular practice, added the monk with a smile, in addition to the tangible benefits for the body, such as cleansing, relaxation, and improved circulation, the very act of washing your feet represents a symbolic act of humility, purification, and rebirth. Feet are our connection to the earth, our point of contact with the outside world. Cleaning and caring for them is a way to honor our relationship with nature and with ourselves. And vinegar, with its ability to dissolve impurities and renew the spirit, becomes a precious companion on this journey of personal and spiritual growth. I therefore invite you to carry out this ancient ritual with awareness and gratitude, always remembering its deepest meaning. Are you tired of struggling with financial difficulties? Do you dream of a peaceful life, free from money worries? And what would it be like to finally be able to make your dreams come true without having to worry about how to pay for them? In the Zen story you are about to listen to, we will reveal the secrets to saying goodbye to poverty, attracting prosperity, and finally living in serenity. Be careful though, in this video we are not talking about strange and unlikely magic tricks to delude yourself into becoming rich overnight. Instead, we will talk about 3 ancient rituals for prosperity thanks to which you will understand that achieving economic well-being is not an unattainable dream. This is a reality that can be achieved by anyone willing to put in the effort and dedication. And the most important thing you will discover is how to activate your inner power and how to use simple but effective rituals to attract wealth and abundance into your life. On the snow-capped slopes of Mount Fuji, shrouded in mystical silence, stood the Shoinzen Monastery, an ancient refuge of peace and wisdom. Within its austere walls lived the Buddhist monk Jun, a man revered for his profound knowledge and his ability to attract prosperity into the lives of those who followed him. One day, a group of pilgrims coming from every corner of the world arrived at the monastery. Attracted by Jun's fame, they wanted to discover how to live a prosperous and fulfilling life. With hearts full of worries and hopes, they sat in front of the old monk, ready to absorb his every word like water in the desert. Jun, with a radiant smile that lit up his wrinkled face, welcomed them warmly, ready to convey to them the inner peace and emotional balance of which he was capable. "Welcome, my children," he said in a quiet voice. "Today I will reveal to you 3 ancient rituals, handed down from generation to generation, capable of driving away poverty and attracting prosperity into your life." With a deep look and a calm voice, Jun added, "Know that when I talk about prosperity, I'm not just talking about money. Prosperity in the life of each of us must include both material and spiritual wealth." Then, while those present nodded in appreciation, he began to describe the first ritual, that of the talisman of abundance. To create the talisman of abundance, he explained, you will need a glass jar, a symbol of purity and containment. In this glass jar, you will have to insert 8 bay leaves, which represent protection and victory, and 3 cloves of garlic, capable of warding off negativity. Furthermore, you will have to add a cinnamon stick, which recalls prosperity and luck, and a current coin or banknote, as a tangible symbol of the desired abundance. The last elements you will need are rice, or the seed of abundance, and your favorite perfume, which will create an olfactory connection with well-being. As the pilgrims listened curiously and hopefully, their mentor went on to explain each step with meticulous precision. In his voice and in his words, one could read the wisdom accumulated over years of meditation and study. "My dears, imbue the jar with positive energy," he suggested, "by thinking about how money can improve your life, bringing you peace, freedom, and prosperity. Add the bay leaves, arranging them in a circle on the walls of the jar to represent unity and protection. At this point, insert the garlic cloves, imagining them as shields against negativity. Then insert cinnamon, a precious spice that will bring prosperity and luck into your life. And finally, the coin or banknote, a tangible symbol of abundance. This will be your goal. When you have inserted all these things," concluded Jun, "fill the jar with rice, the seed of abundance, until it completely covers the other ingredients. Seal it carefully and place it under your bed. Think of it as a magnet that constantly attracts vibrations of opportunity and money." A murmur arose in the monastery hall. Those present, in fact, began to discuss what they were discovering from the voice of the wise Jun. With a hint of mystery in his eyes, Jun revealed the second ritual. For this ritual, he said, you will need a card, a symbol of new possibilities, and your favorite perfume, which will create an olfactory link with prosperity. Spray a few drops of perfume on the note, advised the monk. Then, close your eyes and concentrate on the scent, imagining that it is the essence of money and abundance. Smell the note and repeat to yourself, "Money comes to me easily and effortlessly." Repeat this affirmation with conviction and faith, feeling abundance flow into your life. Always carry this note with you, Jun continued. Every time you smell it, you will strengthen your visualization and attract even more money energy into your life. And if at any time you feel worried about your finances, repeat the process, shifting the focus of your attention from worry to abundance. The pilgrims nodded, making the monk understand that his words were precious to them and that they would certainly carry out these rituals. With an aura of serenity hovering around him, Jun presented the third ritual. For this ritual, he explained, you will need a bowl, water, and a pinch of salt. Fill the bowl with water and add a pinch of salt, mixing slowly with a wooden spoon. Imagine that the water represents the prosperity you wish to attract into your life. Now, Jun continued, take a handful of rice and recite this formula. Spirit of abundance, I thank you for the gifts I have already received and ask you to bless this water with your energy of prosperity. Make this water a symbol of my gratitude and a catalyst to attract even more wealth into my life. After reciting the formula, continued the monk, drink the water slowly, savoring each sip and imagining prosperity flowing within you. As you drink, feel gratitude grow in your heart for the good things you already have in your life. Remember that gratitude is the key that opens the doors to abundance. As he concluded his explanation of the 3 rituals for prosperity, Jun emphasized the importance of symbolism and the power of the mind. These rituals, he stated with conviction, are not magic, but powerful tools for focusing your attention and stimulating your mental attitude. Through their symbolic action, you connect with your inner energy and activate your ability to attract prosperity. Know that it is your faith, your gratitude, and your positive focus, Jun continued, that bring these rituals to life and make them effective. The more you believe in their power and the more you commit to cultivating a positive mental attitude, the more results you will achieve. And remember, added the monk with a beaming smile, that true prosperity is not found in money alone, but in the joy, peace, and love that fill your life. Use these rituals as compasses to guide your path to a life full of meaning and fulfillment, but never forget that the true treasure already lies within you. The pilgrims, moved by Jun's words and full of inspiration, took leave of the monastery with the promise to put into practice the rituals they had learned and to cultivate a positive and grateful mental attitude. But what does the story of the monk Jun teach us? It teaches us that prosperity is not just a matter of money, but of an overall well-being that encompasses the mind, body, and spirit. The rituals passed down by him offer us concrete tools to attract abundance into our lives, but the real key to success lies in self-knowledge and the power of our mind. Only by discovering who we truly are and aligning our actions with our deepest goals can we create a life full of meaning and prosperity. Rituals are just a means, a catalyst to activate our inner potential and to connect with the energy of abundance that surrounds us. The real moral of this story is that prosperity comes from within us. It is the fruit of internal work, of a transformation of our way of thinking and acting. It is when we learn to cultivate gratitude, faith, and positivity that we open ourselves to a flow of abundance that has no limits. Let's remember that money is just a tool, a means to realize our dreams and to contribute to the well-being of the world. True wealth lies in our ability to love, rejoice, and share with others. Let us follow the teachings of the monk Jun and embark on our journey towards prosperity with the awareness that the true treasure is already within us.